All right. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. How are you guys all doing? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Mm, sounds good. All right, cool. Thank you. All right. Sorry. Crazy morning. All right. So, should be lots of explosions this morning. We will see. Again, nothing substantial coming out of Bailey speaking so far. Um, a couple comments, but nothing that's really been earth shattering on any of the, at least with the euro pound and or pound yen. Obviously, reversing most of the movement has happened. You know, basically what he's saying right now, but nothing is. It's not exploding, not yet. So we'll see what he has to say. Robust growth maintained in November, but severe supply constraints. Yeah, I expected that to be there. This might sound like we're speed, we're free fall. In fact, it's anything but that. Yeah, so he's talking about he's setting something else up for later. I don't know if he'll be done today and drop it, but he's gonna bring it. So we'll see. Anyway, I think 10 o'clock this morning will be the big bang with Pal speaking. We'll see what kind of questions he gets asked. Um, I'm pretty sure that going to get it from multiple sides. I think. I don't know. I really don't think that. I don't think that Democrats are going to go crazy. Okay. The reason I say that is because if they completely blast Powell for how horrible of a job he's doing, which is typically what they want to do in testimony when the economy is where it is right now, it's kind of hard when your president just recommended the guy. So there's that, right? There's that. Um, but I think the Republicans, on the other hand, I feel like they may go crazy today. Um, so, we'll see. I think there'll be some fireworks. I don't think it'll be as much as yesterday, but I do think there will be some, you know, something happening later on today. With that, besides that, obviously crude oil. I think crude oil is really going to be wrapped into kind of what OPEC is saying. Um, The thing about OPEC tomorrow is they are going to be very not motivated to do anything with prices dropping as much as they are. I love this. You know, I love this one. Must maintain prudent and proactive and adapt to changing market dynamics. Um, yeah, and this guy says right here, oil under a new threat. Right? This guy is saying down to $58. I'll tell you right now, if it gets to 58, OPEC's gonna be like, "Yep, we're doing cuts. We're doing cuts to stabilize it. This is too much." Which they kind of have a point, right? They kind of have a point. They kind of don't have a point. They're playing both sides. Um, oh, you're so wrong. Elizabeth Warren is gonna trash pal. Yeah, but she's kind of off the. I mean, I don't mean that. This is not coming off. I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way, but she's off the reservation anyway, right? I'm not trying to make a Pocahontas pun. That's just a statement. But yeah, she's a little bit. She's just a female Bernie, right? People I think are stopping to they just ignoring her at this point, right? Um, yeah, she's just a female Bernie. That's all. Okay, so do you guys want to hear what the bomb Todd dropped on me this morning? So we start off the actual conversation. He's like, I get on. He's like, "Did you hear?" I'm like, "Did I hear what?" He's like, "Did you hear?" I was like, "Nope. Been dealing with a crying 3-year-old." He's like, "Well, it came out last night." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he dropped the bomb. So he's like, well, he's like, the positive is I may get a trip to Europe. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, well, that's a good thing, right? Supposedly, where is it right here? IG has sold 2 trading platforms. And one of those platforms just happened to be Nadex, right? In the first half of 2022, right? The deal will close. So I mean, not official guaranteed yet, but that pretty much means it's guaranteed. So yeah, so IG will no longer be under the Nadex, or Nadex will no longer be under the IG window. And you may say, okay, well, who did they sell it to? And you guys saw me say Matt Damon. There's Matt Damon. Don't know if you guys can see it. I don't know if I can blow it up enough to check it out. Oh, yes, you can. Crypto.com bought Nadex. So they are expanding. Um, yeah, kind of crazy, right? He's like, you've heard of crypto.com. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I have. I mean, I've obviously heard of crypto and everything has a .com. And I'm assuming, yes, there was something out there with crypto.com. I'm sure some person tried to snag that early on and made, buku bucks off trying to acquire crypto.com. But yeah, the good thing about it is crypto.com has technology light years ahead of what Nadex has. So, with that said, probably a good thing because now they'll be able to kind of share the technology. Again, you think about it, not many people know IG, and IG was kind of backwards. They actually, IG sold the small exchange also, which is interesting because I thought that was the big thing for Tom being part of it, is because he wanted access to a global exchange, which was the small exchange in Europe. But now that they've sold those two things off, crypto.com looks like it is kind of taking over. As far as now, we don't know what this means. We don't have any idea. It was just speculation with Todd and I. He's going to the office today, and we'll see what kind of comes out of it. But again, deal is not closed till next year. But this means that they could have open source APIs and a lot more cool toys, and it's obviously a forward-thinking company versus a, well, how do we not know? How can we not do things? So I think it's actually good, and I didn't realize that. I mean, I'll shrink this back a little bit. Um, see, I mean, I'm not super familiar with them, but they're into everything. They got NFTs over here, right? I mean, talk about like they're going crazy. They're in the NFT space. They got Snoop Dogg over here doing $1 million worth of stuff. Crypto.com selling $3 million. So they're into NFTs. They're into, what else are they into? They're in, obviously, in all the cryptos, advanced trading. They're obviously going towards the binary side. Now they have an exchange in Europe that they can use. So they got a lot of stuff. They got a lot of stuff, and it's all based off of new technology. So yeah, kind of interesting to see. And again, I think that's more languages than Linux has. So yeah, it's kind of forward thinking, right? I love this one. Web, we're building a future on the internet. Web 3, right? Nadex is like, what is that, right? So what it kind of means is out with the old programmers and in with the new programmers. I'm pretty sure they are still going to take all of Joel's emails and be like, nope, not interested. But kind of big. Yeah. No, it's gonna. I mean, I'm sure, depending on what they do with the platform, Ernest, I'm sure you'll have more cryptos over on the platform. But they've had them in the past. I mean, it's not, I mean, they've had Bitcoins over there. I mean, whatever. If they want to put binaries on Bitcoins, that I'm fine with that. If they put like actual good binaries on there, which I think at this point, I know the technology they were working on. If they put decent ones on there, I actually may trade those, right? I mean, I'm all for like a 9% crash in Bitcoin up or down, right? I can trade that like anything else, right? So yeah, so going to be interesting the next 6 months to see where they start rolling things in. Again, it's not done until the beginning of next year. That's just how things go. But it'll be interesting to see what type of technology ideas a newer company like this does versus kind of an old stagnant type IG that was just, it was like trying to get anything through compliance was like, oh man, it was rough, right? So, yeah. I mean, I would say it's, you're always, nobody likes change, but I will say, with the way that these guys, with this group is talking about the future and using new technologies, I don't think they can make it worse, right? So I feel like I said, open source API would be kind of cool, which means we can get a decent charting platform and it may link into other things, which would be kind of cool. Originally, that was the idea that IG was going to do. Is like, oh yeah, we can, Nadex products we be over on the Tastyworks or the Tasty Trade platform, and they were going to try to start integrating it in. And then there was like a lot of questions with it, but yeah. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, they may scrap. Ernest, you may be right. They may scrap the entire Nadex platform itself and just integrate it in. I'd be very curious to see. Like I said, I only found out a little while ago. But look, there's an app. I don't know. I'm not sure what's in the app. I can't believe they have. Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, So maybe there's maybe it becomes more app based. I don't know. Like I said, very interesting, right? So what it means, don't know any more than that. But yeah, that was the bomb that he dropped. He's like, "Yep, it got purchased." I'm like, "What?" And I wouldn't have assumed that it would gone that route. But hey, big company. Again, whenever new people step in, they always want to make a splash and do new stuff. So can't like I said, compared to all the event binaries that they were listed, I'm kind of excited for that one. I'm like, hey, I'd rather have, you know, I don't know if I like the idea of not having to get into crypto, but still being able to trade crypto. Oh yeah, right there, IG group to sell Nadex small exchange. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I mean, I said next year would be full of explosions. I did not expect that, but hey, whatever. I'll take it. Right. So, like I said, I'm most interested to see what type of technology they kind of bring in, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that I'd be looking for, right? What exactly are they incorporating in, and how are they doing it? So, I think so. I mean, IG was taking it nowhere, in my opinion. Like I said, I got nothing against IG, but yeah, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of possibilities. I'm curious. Like I said, I'm not the biggest. You guys know I'm not the biggest supporter of crypto. I don't think it has. I mean, I think it has a future because there's plenty of sheep out there. But I really feel like I actually met a guy recently. Like, he's like, "Oh no, He's like, "I have a green company for mining Bitcoin." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Oh no, we're gonna cut deals with power plants and you know, you know, take profits and put it back into green resources." I'm like, "But that's not being green. You're still creating a carbon footprint. And you're just trying to offset it. That doesn't make you a green thing." And he's like, he's like, "But this is the gold rush." I'm like, "What do you mean it's the gold rush?" He's like, "Well, China outlawed it." I'm like, "Okay," and it came to the United States, but who's to say that the United States is not also going to outlaw it? And then what do you got? You know, I'm like, the reason why it was a gold rush in the United States is because we have an infrastructure to handle the power needs, but as everything goes more power based, we don't have the infrastructure to handle everything. So yeah. So I don't know. The fact that it's very technology based, I'm pretty excited. It could be cool. It could be cool. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what that means for the morning show. I'm hoping that they let us continue the morning show, and I assume that they would. But we'll see. If not, Todd and I will be doing our own morning show probably. Um, I just mind the crypto part. Yeah, but I mean, figure people with crypto throw money at everything, Ernest. So it's not. It's kind of like crypto, throw money at it. So I don't know. Maybe it's cool. Maybe Nadex will finally get the traction that it didn't get under IG, right? And like I said, if you're gonna let me trade decent, like real, like actual, you know, legitimate contracts that make sense on crypto, I don't mind, being able to take shorts in crypto, right? Like I said, I don't have any, desire to own it, but if I can, trade some decent, like, good trading options on it, sure, why not? And I say good because I don't feel that there's really great ones. So I don't know. We'll see what OPEC has to say today. OPEC Plus, remember, is tomorrow. Come on, did we break it already? I think the OPEC Plus meeting is really what's going to matter. I don't think OPEC today really. I mean, they can say whatever they want, but the OPEC Plus is kind of what's holding the purse strings at this point. So we'll see how that goes. Again, right now you see currencies are kind of mixed across the board, so we'll see where they go. Let's dive over into charts. Here we go. All right, so we'll start off with Aussie dollar. So we talked about targets up top. We got those targets up top late last night. Around 9, 10 o'clock. We bounced right off that 71.84, pulled all the way back down, and again, kind of came back into the 71.33 or 35 area. We kind of hit it, and now it's just more or less basing. I would say we're kind of sitting on the high side of things. I would say right now we're probably stalled, waiting for Powell to speak. Again, Aussie not looking good over the year, week, month. I mean, it's kind of getting beat around, but I would say the gold is not really in the best situation either. So, right now I'd say probably a bit more bearish. And like I said, we called out these levels yesterday of where things were. We had the full parabolic retracement. So again, it's pretty much over at this point. We are putting in lower highs. We do have lower lows. If I move this over just a little bit, We'll put it over here. You can see we do have a lower low there. It's kind of it's just a slightly lower high, but I think at this point we're waiting for the Powell to speak. And again, if he says anything even remotely close to yesterday, that should lead us up into a continuation back to the downside. Now, I think there'll be some hiccups sitting in this level right here. And the reason why I say that is because it spent so much time here, right? It spent so much time here, but what's it going to do from there, right? What's it going to go from there? Hold on. It's hold on one sec, guys. Let's just message me. Oh, hold on. What? All right. So again, more bearish thinking than anything else. It's up slightly right now, but I think Powell's really going to sandbag this one. All right. But I think if we can get some basing at this level, right around what 71.27, I think look for targets back down here, probably in the 70.91 range. Probably more down in this level is what we'd be looking for. All right. Aussie yen. I'm going to leave it stretched out so you can see it. Yeah. Yeah. It was 1.9. 1.9. Yeah. 1.9. And I saw where price was this morning and I was very excited. And one of three is right there. 1.9. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So 1.9. Did I say that yet? 1.9? I just want to make sure everybody heard that. 1.9. 1.9. So anyway, level of basing sitting right here in the middle. I would say, I mean, at this point, we're kind of smack in the middle. It's going to be the same scenario where we have some buyers sitting probably in this area right here. Is it a great kind of takeoff point? It's okay. I mean, its test was good. I like the reaction off of it. And again, this was more of a late night type position. It's kind of close to it right now. It's about 20 pips away. The problem is, if Powell says something that is absolutely hyper inflammatory, it's a very, very tiny level on a 30-minute chart in the middle of a range. So it's not the ideal, it's not the ideal place to put a zone. It's not an extreme. Um, right now, I mean, we don't really have anything Australia-wise today. Tomorrow, not really either. I mean, maybe, I mean, not really. Let me see. Do we have, let's do none. Australia. Yeah, just, I mean, OPEC, and then I guess retail sales. I mean, retail sales could provide something, right? I mean, retail sales is a good one, right? It's not doesn't move the overall, but it will move the Aussie. So maybe 7:30 tonight we have something. Um, what does it pick to be? It's supposed to be flat at 4.9. Huh. It's a long time away to hold this level, but I think if we just start to meander around here, it could be it could be a possible long for news, right? It could be a possible long for here. I guess we'll put something on there. We'll see news. You can keep that there. Again, I like the other. I like both areas better. Actually, obviously at this point, the 79.9. I like this zone much better than this zone. I really don't like the 81.49 right now because of 1.9. Just saying. And actually, I think it was actually less than 1.9 on Oanda. I don't have the platform up right now, but yeah, I actually think it was less than 1.9 on Oanda, but on here is 1.9. Actually, this is based off Oanda, but I think it's a little bit different. I think the way that I had this zone drawn on MT4 is slightly different, but yeah, it was less than 2. I know it was less than 2. That's why I was measuring it here. What's it see? Let's see. Didn't trigger and they followed me. Yeah. Yes, you got hit too. Yeah. So yeah, screw that 1.9. Down with the Aussie yen. Yeah. Yeah. So again, obviously I like 79.90 better at this point. I'm mad at the 81.94 or 49. Yeah. So anyway, looking for something midday, maybe. If Pulse is nothing super inflammatory and it just kind of comes down, it could be a rollover. It could be something, bouncing back to the top side. So maybe a small intraday trade. If it hasn't been broken for news, yeah, then like it for later on today. Euro pound. We talked about it. We drew it, talking about it coming back down on that level. Didn't go very, very far in, right? At 1 o'clock yesterday, it just peeked its head up into that level and kind of went through and kind of based, right? Based right in that level, kind of gave us a little test, came back up and tested it again. Again, here's your, whoops, 3 a.m., right? There's your 3 a.m. Um, is it really trending? Is it moving? Is it flying? Not really. So I'd love to say this is a great trade setup, but we talked about being bearish yesterday, and yeah, it's bearish. It's going where we wanted it to go, but about 35 pips in 24 hours. So not really not really the same. Right, not really the same. Looking at euro yen. So euro yen also pulled back, and we talked about it. Coming up a little bit higher. Again, kind of the same scenario with the yen involved. We were looking for 128.95. Didn't This one wasn't really even close. We had another 15 pips to go. It's kind of the same, and we're sitting. Yesterday, I guess we were sitting right in this range, so it's a little bit higher, right, by about 20 pips. But I think it's coming back down. Um, Middle of the range. Really, it's just kind of go. We're more or less just channeling. I'd say there's probably going to be a small hiccups. Not as worried about this one, but I think we hold off and wait on this one for 127.53. And even on the grander scheme of this thing, I mean, you can see that it's really just chopping back and forth. And before this little window here, it just chopped back and forth. I mean, it's really been a spike is what changes everything. And there's not a lot there, but I do like the 127. It is done from a higher time frame, so it is something. And again, you can see that we're still in there green, red, and blue. So it is kind of an extreme range of it, and it was tested here. So again, is it a set and forget trade? Maybe depending on the time, but when we get down there, I'm going to be thinking longs really quickly. All right, and you can see here, there's a lot of speckled news here. And again, not worried about the Japanese yen ones. I'm worried about the euro ones. So bunch of different speckling. It's like little blueberries, right? Little blueberries for the rest of the week, and every single one of these could be decent. All right, the euro. So euro did pull back. Euro did tag the 50, right? So, and again, depending on how you drew it, it actually would have been the other way around. You wouldn't use the 61. You use the 32 or whatever it is, 38, I guess was whatever it is. It was coming back to a level. So, yeah, it's okay. I wouldn't say that it's doing a ton different. I still like this one, and I'll remove fib so we don't confuse people on it. Actually, we don't need this anymore either. We'll remove that. I would say right now this is such a big drop, so clean, and again, it's that parabolic retracement, coming back again. I would say looking for that level is probably what I want. I think it's a decent, yeah, it's 11. Um, this could be something for later on today, particularly kind of the end of the day. Um, and again, it's not even really that big of a move. I mean, you're talking about 33, 35 pips. And again, if it just goes up straight green, if we just continue to go up straight green with really no pullbacks, profit targets on this one could actually be sitting right there at that level. So, right there. So I think this one has decent potential. It is high. Again, this is basically saying that we're going to have dollar strength again. Any mention really of rising interest rates or anything else out there, then you know could be some good opportunity. But that's 113.71. I'll move this across so you guys can see it just a little bit easier. And that has overall profit targets down here at 113.38. Okay. Grand scheme of things, again, euro is hitting levels up top, so we know that they're up there anyway. And again, this is kind of a more of aggressive approach, but you can see that for it to really break through, it's got a couple different things it's got to get through, right? In the grand scheme of things, right? So that's where we stand with the euro dollar. Pound yen. Pound yen is really not doing much. We spent all this time here. We dropped. We based in it again. We bounced off it again. We dropped. I'm going to remove it now because it's not really telling us a lot more. Obviously, we hit the profit targets to the downside. So let's remove all these targets. We don't need any of these anymore. There we go. All right. So the one thing I do like about this little level here is I like how the wicks are ascending. I would have liked it was consecutive candles where this one actually came up at base and then pulled back down again. But I do like areas that are like this where you see that the wicks go higher and higher and higher and higher. It means the buyer stepped in, buyer stepped in, buyer stepped in, buyer stepped in. So they got more aggressive on it. I would say right now that this is more of a target for the short. It only needs to move about another 66 pips, so it's not like a one candle scenario. Um, eh, do we take it long from there? It's really going to depend if we have news or not. Um, they're saying that there's no news until over here. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. I like the bottom. I don't like the little kind of tiny can in the middle. I wish it was four candles in a row, all like that. Um, this could be a European Open. If anybody's up late tonight, if we're starting to get close, could you potentially throw something in right here? Sure, sure. Now this zone itself is a little bit big. It's about 30 pips, and I'm not into that. Let's see if we can refine it. Let's see how much is that refined. It's still 21. Let's see what the exit looks like. A lot of this is going to depend on what happens here. If we can break through, see what I'm worried about is this. We eventually come down here and we push up. Problem is, if we have basing in this level, this is not going to do it. We're not going to have enough room for 1 to 3 in there. It's a decent zone. Like I said, I don't like the little hiccup, but it is kind of, we're finding a little bit, it is tested. Problem is, are we going to have enough room to run to the top side before we run into the basing of this level? Because again, this is a level. There is basing. It kind of rode the top and kicked off of it, touched it, kicked off of it, touched it, kicked off of it. So it is actually a level. Question is, do we slice through it or do we base in it to take that long? So I would say there's a potential here, but I think we got another day before we get down there. Actually, probably more than that at this point. Um, yeah, it's more for over here. So I think this is something probably for tomorrow, not today. But yeah, we're kind of about this spacing level. But we'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe it just slices through, and it's not going to be an issue. Okay. But again, that would be set up for news on Friday. Okay. Pound dollar, almost all the way back. So you can see this one looked at the 50 and said, nah, not really. The 61.8, we're going to punch through it. 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 And we're going to go all the way up to 78. And then we're going to come down and we're going to punch through it and we'll punch through it and punch through it. And it's just continuing to push. So it is funny how, again, the same old level that we had before, that's exactly what it used. It didn't even really slow down. And again, this is why you need to use fibs in conjunction with something else. Because I mean, if had you been looking for the short of the 50%, you got stopped out. It blew through the 50 right here. Again, there we go. We're 61. Oh, we're protected. Stop loss, and came all the way up and grabbed the next level. So if you're using the 61.8 and I mean the 61.8 and you're using the 78.6 as your stop loss, kind of a big deal, right? You need to be all the way down here. So not a good fib based trade. You need to kind of have it coincide with something else. And again, none of those made sense. So, but in that regards, again, 33.57. It's the completion of the parabolic retracement. I think it's probably a decent level. We're seeing it in a couple different, Aussie dollar is kind of in the same stance. Euro dollar was also kind of pushed up. So again, these are all potential rollover areas where I think there could be some opportunity to take these and kind of roll them back to the downside. So, you know, could be something, maybe nothing. Like I said, I think at this point, Pal's been speaking for 4 minutes. Um, I think it's set up perfectly for Pal to speak. Being small risk, what are we talking here? It's tiny, right? Yeah, it's about 13 pips. I don't think this is a horrible position. Could it blow through the top with Pal speaking? Sure, sure. But again, sellers confirmed. Pal speaking right here. We're kind of all in that same area. Actually, let me see something real quick. Let me check the platform. Pound dollar. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. So, let's see. Volatility starting to build. Let's see. Does it tell me? um, yeah. So I was looking at the call spreads. Looking at the call spreads. Um, yeah. So looking at the call spreads, there's only three of them in the pound dollar, but there's a short duration contract, and it's actually pretty cheap. It's one of those ones that if he does mention anything that's great for the dollar, and this thing turns and rolls in the next 2 hours, which it probably would, there could be a nice little risk to return. But it's going to need to move. If he says absolutely nothing and it just sits here for 2 hours, it's probably not going to do a whole lot. Let's see. That's 290, 300. I don't know about that. Um, this is a huge call spread. Huge call spread. $12 of risk and 288 max profit. Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I mean, if he wants to launch this thing down, I would be okay with that. That's what we want to watch. Anyway, cheap. There's some cheap call spreads, cheap binaries sitting there right now. All Pal has to do is say one thing that's inflammatory, that is hawkish for the dollar, send the dollar flying, send this one down, and again, not a bad trade. Again, I don't think it'll come all the way down here, but that would be awesome if it did. I think I got into that one for $4. Yeah, yeah, got into it for like $4. All right, dollar CAD. Dollar CAD going down. And again, a lot of this has to do with oil. Oil is up 1.6%. It's up $1.15. Again, we're seeing kind of the dollar weakness is the trend right now. But again, is a lot of this preparation for Powell to say something that is going to bring all the dollar bulls back in. It's highly possible. We talked about these two zones yesterday, so I don't need to beat them up again. That one pulled back. We don't need that. Again, the aggressive zone with Nadex, you're fine. Wouldn't have mattered that it came out the top a little bit. Futures traders may have gotten stopped. The 128.33, you guys can see that one held. This was the aggressive zone, the conservative zone one, and we're pulling all the way back down again. So where we can see potential problems at it, I would say probably important to mention this level. We're at it right now. And like I said, and again, the same thing with that pound dollar trade. Um, we're in an area right now that we've had dollar weakness, that we have a guy that's talking that could bring massive amounts of dollar strength in. So it's kind of about stacking the odds in your favor. Do I like it as much in the dollar CAD right now? Not so much, because oil is going to be a close follow up. And if the price of oil, I don't know, say they find a whole lot of surplus and oil starts to go down, this one's going to, I mean, I don't know. There's oil could, if they find a surplus in oil and oil prices drop like a rock, this one is also going to continue to go higher. So Powell could send this higher. Oil could send this higher. If there's a huge down draw in oil, again, that would strengthen oil on the path that it's already at. That would break this through. So, is it the perfect opportunity? No. Are there a few things in your favor? Yeah, kind of the same thinking. Same idea. But I think there's a little bit more risk stacked into this one. If you were looking for a long, again, this would be kind of a. We are a little bit early. It is 10:09. But your 1 to 3 is only to here, right there, right. So it doesn't even require that much. Let me see. No, unfortunately, there is the only Nadex product on that. Well, I mean, I guess there's binaries. There's a call spread on this one, but the bottom side is 27.50. So it's sitting, yeah, it's sitting all the way up there. So that's the closest floor. So Unfortunately, it's moved a little bit too much in the wrong direction for us right now. Could it spike up through? Yeah, but on a short duration, it wouldn't be a call spread. It would be more of a binary. And unfortunately, the binaries on this one, they have them jacked so far apart. Um, yeah, I mean, we're talking 10. You'd actually have to go to 27, 27.34, 27.34 by there. So it would require a little bit. You need help from PAL a little bit. You need a little bit of help from oil, but that's about $25 worth of risks. So, eh, eh, it's all right. Don't love it. Swiss. So, Swiss is back to the origin of the move from the other day. Um, you know, the Swiss, I would say that there is probably, again, it's another one of these trades. The Aussie, the pound had it, the dollar CAD had it. It's another area where we have buyers coming in where it's also signaling dollar strength. There's a lot of these all lining up at the same exact time. Um, it's kind of the same one. The Swiss is typically the one I don't necessarily like to play with the most because I feel like it moves the least, except when it does a big spike. But yeah, it's already starting to kind of pull away in kind of preparation. Um, Kind of the same trade. I wouldn't say there's much else in this one. I think right now, again, still things that I'd be watching for is this top target up top. I think that's a great one for later on down the road. Um, and actually, this is kind of more of a target for kind of over here on the weekend. Remember, I think, let's see, is Russia, what is Russia doing? Let's see, Russia. Russian border fears escalated as officials trash out Biden Putin meeting, or thrash out, sorry, thrash. Russia expels some U.S. diplomats in latest tit for tat. Okay, great. So we're making friends in all the right places. Um, People also ask, is Russia a safe country? Is Russia good to live? What religion is Russia? What is Russia best known for? Nice. Nice. But 28 minutes ago, Russia expels more diplomats in a move in retaliation to Washington's expulsion of more than 50 Russian diplomats. Great. So, yeah, there's going to be war, and we're just throwing each other's diplomats out left and right. Um, let's see. Ukraine is not a member of either the EU or NATO. However, NATO is under no country. Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, they probably will. Um, yeah. Oh, said 27 Russian diplomats and their families would leave the United States on the 30th. Yep. So we're pulling diplomats. So looking like it's a great opportunity. Remember, anything that goes on with Russia is going to affect the Swiss geopolitical military events. So again, I do believe that that helps drive this one to the downside with any weakness. Euro yen hasn't hit our target yet. Our target would be down here. Again, the 112 mark. We mentioned not really doing much until we got down there. We got close. We're close. Actually, it's kind of funny. We're bouncing off this level right here. So yeah. Again, I'm not a big fan of the dollar yen right now. I just think there's too many factors that are involved with it. But the target looks like it's we're within striking distance of a hit. So don't love it. CAD is bouncing back a little bit. I'm already up over 1-to-1 in my call spread. By the way, Pal must have said something. I think he said something slight, although it's a very small position. Let's go over and look at oil because we're getting close. So, oil. Let's drop this down to a 15 minute and see what we got. So, I wish this would have been the other way around. I like how oil's flipping back down again. Hmm. Melissa must be home because the dog is going nuts. That or the fox is on the deck again. Man, we're really consolidating in here, both sides. Let's see. Whoops. 5 minute. Hmm. Yeah, this one is kind of forming on tops and bottoms here. So again, we're kind of like rocking a hard place here. Um, again, we don't see it's not really pulling into either yet. Um, yeah, definitely don't have it slowing down yet. We're gonna have to come back to this one. It's only 10:15, so we got a little bit of time to go on this one. Again, right now we're not. It's not. I mean, there on a 1 minute, we do have something a little bit lower for a pop, and I think it's more of a pop than anything else. So we'll come back to oil. Natural gas. Let's go back up to a 30. So natural gas, I'm just watching it go lower. And look at this. Our target was the $4.46. Not only did it blow through, it came back up and hit it, and then continues to drop. So the company notified me that says they're going to be in the area in the next week, and they wanted to know if they could come drop some stuff off. And I'm kind of like, yeah, you can probably come this week. um, down another 5% today. So unless it drops to 650, there's a couple people that were wrong. That was like, Brian's going to fill his tank when it's 650. Like, nope, nope. Um, we're at 430 right now, so we're doing better. Let's see, where's our next hiccup? Looks like our next hiccup. All right, let's draw some lines on this one. Actually, I'm not going to continue these. There's the gap, and then it looks like quite the drop. Let's see. Oof, I don't need that little one. Nice little racetrack action going right here. 395, probably. Let's go to an hourly on this one. Helps to find it a little bit better. Go there. Look at that. Got some room to run. Put that there. Change that to green. Stick another one. What we got here? What do we got? 422. I like that one. 415 or 416. 391. I'm liking that one right there. Will, I'm sure you're liking this one as well. Although, Will, you probably filled your tanks already, didn't you? You out there, Will? Feel like Will with his massive tanks is probably filled. Just to lock it in. Just to lock it in. But yeah, I would say that those are downside targets right now, as well as potential areas to pop off of. So we'll see what OPEC says. Like I said, it's 30. It's 30. It was 31 degrees when I drove the boys to school today. So yeah, yeah, some fun, some cold, some cold. Gold. So gold pulling back a little bit. Here's the picture we drew. We talked about it hitting, and I missed it by 2 bars on the hit. And then I had the bounce, and we got the bounce. We did the bounce here first, and then we did the bounce here, or we did the bounce here. So I don't know what Pal's saying right now. Obviously, we're here, but curious to see where this one continues with dollar strength. Like I said, right now you can tell the gold is not. I'll bring it back to 30 minute. Gold is kind of confused. They're waiting to hear what Pal is saying, but I will say that you're seeing it open up. The highs are getting higher, the lows are getting lower, so it's kind of opening up a little bit. But I wouldn't say there's any direction right now. It's all eyes are watching what Pal is saying about curbing inflation. And I really feel like that will be the talk track today is how are you going to control inflation because it's getting out of hand, and it'll be the same things. You're making tax cuts for the rich, and the poor people are paying for this. Rich people inflation doesn't bother, right? Um, you know, I'm assuming that's what we're probably going to hear today. So we'll see. Um, Silver's not liking it either, but yeah, I would say look for gold to come back up to 1800, at least by the end of in the next day or two. But we'll see if Powell can jump it today. He hasn't said anything yet about. I mean, we're at the curb inflation, not we're seeing too much inflation, so yeah, but not really anything tradable through here. Silver not liking it. And again, silver is at that whoof. Somebody needs to start tagging Wall Street Bets. I feel like I should do it. Be like, hey, do they even have their account anymore? Did they lose their account? Does anybody know? Did Wall Street Bets lose their account? I feel like they did. Maybe they didn't. I felt like they were like under SEC investigation for manipulation. And yeah, all those people that bought into this, assuming we'd be at 100, I feel like are probably not happy right now. But yeah, we're watching silver continue to deteriorate. And if you look back, um, I mean, really, our next level of true buying is probably going to be down here. So we had one little test right where that black is, but I think we've busted through that right now. Or we're close. We're close. We're actually, I guess, in a mini zone right now. Yeah, yeah. It's going to come through. Yeah, so we had our 1, 2, 3 hits. Now we're basing in it. Yeah, so that one's going to blow up. Our target there is going to blow. We don't need this top side anymore. I would say our next target. Oof, that's kind of ugly. Sorry, silver people. There is our next target for silver. 22.28. No idea about us. Haven't heard anything about Wall Street Bets for a while. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a lot of their calls obviously were not. I mean, I don't know at this point. I mean, think about it. They jacked silver up to where it was, right? If you look at AMC and GME are up a little bit, but again, they're kind of the same things, right? Um, if what they did is not market manipulation, I'm not sure how to how you would describe it, right? Um, I don't really know. I don't know how else you would explain it with what their predictions and how they tried to move the market and form a coalition to take down Wall Street. I really don't know. I mean, if you know if you're gonna, I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of one of those things. It's like you come out with these posts. We're gonna take down Wall Street. Let's join forces. Let's try to take them down. And then like again being wildly off. I feel like that is it's almost kind of like a pump and dump, right? I feel like there should be some repercussions for that one. So we'll see. Um, But yeah, so silver, again, target B22 down. Let's see, has oil started to slow? No, oil is still kind of stuck. God, it's still moving too much. Maybe it pulled back up into that area. Maybe, maybe, maybe. Maybe, maybe, maybe. We've pulled away from this side, which is fine, but now we're kind of pulling into the top side. It's literally hitting both sides. We got 8 minutes and we still have no stabilization. It has continued to move. It is not doing much. Although it has pulled back up into sellers. So that's somewhat nice, but again, it has not stopped yet. I mean, it stopped back here at 9:45. That does not count. Way too far away. No slowing at all right now. So interesting. Let's go over to ES and see how these guys did. Dun, dun, dun. So far, it's up 140 for the ES, but I would say 9:15 we drove all the way down right here beforehand. 9:30, and then we've kind of pulled back up. We're in the same kind of area. Um, Again, there'll be some 61.8 traders, right? Even though it was at 7 and then 7:15, they're gonna be like, yeah, at 8:45. But had they already been at 9:30, it was a bit late. The question is, did they come in early or not? And I would say right now they're still waiting for Powell. We don't have any direction. Let's see, has he made any big headlines? Not yet. Nope. I guess that you could watch it live. Yeah, I guess you can watch it live, but hasn't not no major headlines yet, right? No major headlines yet. Um, but that's all this did. It drove it down to come up a little bit higher. So I would still say I think boxing this one off. The 4661 I like. 4600 obviously is going to be a big psychological number in there. Um, yeah, until Powell says anything really inflammatory, I think this continues to grind up. The market's liking it so far. We'll see if he kind of throws any curveballs. And actually, I'm curious. I wonder if you attack. No, I guess you can attack Yellen. It's like I wonder if you attack Yellen today, not Powell, because he kind of said what he needed to yesterday. Um, I wonder. I don't know if she has enough juice yet. I don't, or not yet, but left. Wonder if you attack her. Hmm, wonder if he's the one that you go after. Eh. Anyway, I think if he doesn't say anything, I think ES continues to grind up. If we do get up to 4661, I think it is something we bring up. OPEC will obviously have some kind of sway into this when they talk about what they see their global demand, but for the most part, unless Powell says something, this should continue to go higher today. But again, if we push up all day, then maybe we get an end of the day profit taking in it. Because again, up 143 is a good amount. Up 65, I think the daily ATR on this one is not quite that high. Um, Daily ATR is 51. So at 66, we are above, right? We are above the daily ATR already on the move. So again, I think there will be some profit taking coming back in. Again, I think that 46.61 is probably a decent level. NQ, again, we talked about NQ dropping. It did at 7:30. Kind of accelerated, right? It accelerated all the way down to that 9:30 time frame, and now we put a lower high in, and it's a lower high, but it's also a higher low. So kind of the same idea is waiting, right? Still waiting for them to talk. Just the politicians talking so far. Oh, okay, so they haven't actually started yet. Yeah, I'm up 2-1 already on that call spread. um, Almost 3-1. Like a dollar shy of 3-1. Um, it's kind of funny. It's like, wow, I got that. How cheap? How cheap did I get it? Um, it's funny. Sometimes those things crack me up. All right, so I would say kind of the same thinking. I'm probably more bearish than Q at this point. Obviously, Apple had its explosive move. I like that this one is high in the curve. I like that it's running the sellers. And again, like I said, I think it only takes one hawkish comment about controlling inflation or supply chain woes or anything like that. I think can send the NQ rolling. NQ isn't the strongest of the day. It's fighting the YM for the weakest right now. So I think that's if we do get the negative comments, I do think that this Yellen. We'll see if Yellen's got any juice. Obviously, if Yellen's going first, I know it's ladies first, but I feel like, you know, she's just nothing but gloom and doom. When you hear her talk, it's like, you know what, we could just lift up all the the tariffs on China. I mean, forget that they're screwing companies over and not following the agreement anyway. We could just lift them. It's okay, and it would relieve supply pressure because China would be good to us. No, yeah, I don't think she wanted the job in the first place. I think it was a long discussion they had that it was kind of like, "Hey, we need you to do it. Do it for women." You know, I think that's why she took the position again. Like I said, I think she was pretty much retired. You don't come back and that position went from a position of being a red high impact to basically at this point an orange at best, but most of the times her speeches are yellows now. So the market's not really concerned with what she says. So I don't know. Like I said, NQ is now rolling and it is now considered the weakest. It's 0.19. The YM is up a little bit more. So yeah, I would say still stay bearish with this one. If you had a good short on that one, YM is up, right? But it had done so much sideways movement. Now it did go below the 51. It didn't come all the way to the 23.6 on this one. Problem I had with this one was really trying to find a zone with these three little spikes up. None of these spikes were really great. None of them give us really a zone. These are all just kind of invisible levels, and it's like, oh look, 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 look. I mean, finding things everywhere. So I would say I like the 35,000 mark. I think the 35,000 mark is a big psychological target. If we could rally up to there, that would be a potential rollover for the end of the day for me. Obviously, this one is far behind. All the other ones are all the way back up again. As we mentioned yesterday, again, looking at this level, really kind of up top here. This is where the big slide happened yesterday. And that big slide is sitting up at 35,120. I don't know that we'll get that high today, but I do think if we do get up there, that is a level where we could see some movement on it. So, um, actually, Ernest, she was retired. She doesn't just a pure Democrat puppet. Yeah, I think she is. I honestly, I mean, like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of Yellen the first time she was around, but I didn't think she was. I mean, I don't know. She was all right. She wasn't my favorite in her last position, but when she was released this time, I think it was kind of a forced position. And I just feel like I don't know when you take a role as in her position, and you look at compared to her predecessor, when he said something, the market's moved. Um, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like it's she. I feel like she took the job for all the wrong reasons, and I feel like it shows, and the market has seen through it. So which is unfortunate because I do think it's a very important position. It can hold a lot of power, and sway, and I think it is important position. But I just feel like that she's just. I mean, it's just kind of I don't want to say lame duck, but I think that's the official term for it. It's just kind of a lame duck appointment. which kind of sucks. So anyway, again, this one is flirting for the weakest. Russell. So Russell is a high flyer of the day, up 2%. It was up more than that earlier today. It is lower. We have now put a lower high in. Now, marking this off, it is a decent candle. I like how there are descending wicks there, right? The descending wicks. But there's your zone on that one that for that kind of short. Um, I guess I can grab fibs and let's see if anything is even remotely close. Yeah, no, it ran a little bit early. There's the low. I can't really. I mean, I guess I could try to draw it from higher up to give an answer, but there's not really a whole lot in there. So it's more based off of this level here. And again, this is not necessarily the freshest level. There's the zone here, right? There's the zone. There's your touch. Push it to the brink, reestablish it, touch it, dropped. Touched it, dropped. So it's a level that's in there. You guys could have tried. I bet you Carl traded this one, actually. This is like a Carl kind of trade. Um, but it's not a set, it's not a 78-6 trade. So anybody that tries to claim that it is just trying to, they're working the numbers. Yeah. I doubt that she will finish her term. Nah, she'll finish. She won't leave early. Yeah, I don't think she'll leave early. Um, but I don't think it'll be. I don't know. I would just more hope that it's not. I don't know. You know what? Actually, who I think would be good for the position. Like I know Bernard is going. Try to go for Fed president, right? I would actually. I think. I think her in that role would be actually very, very interesting. I think she's young enough and aggressive enough, and has some great. Again, something like a digital dollar coming from the inside versus the outside of the Fed, I think actually would be. I think she'd be amazing for that role. Um, I think getting some younger blood in would be better than just trying to bring older blood in that's more experienced. I think she would actually be a great candidate for that job. I don't know. Maybe if Yellen bounces out early, and I mean, I guess running the Fed is one thing, but um, I kind of like Bullard. Bullard's. I think he's got it dead on. I think he's been dead on, and I think he's just sitting back there going, "Ha blow this stuff up," and I'm taking over. I think he should take that over. I think if they put her in Yellen's spot, I think that actually would be amazing. Um, I think that would really get a lot done because then it would be driving from the inside, not the outside. Because remember, Fed is technically third party, um, but Treasury Secretary, that would be interesting. Yeah, I would like that. That would be awesome. Um, Younger, yeah, that'd be good. But Russell's kind of in the same sense. So let's go down and let's see what happened with oil. I meant to check it right before, but I wasn't really liking the way that oil was setting up. I'm like, why is it not working? It's because it is. It's not an Australia release. Okay, so it kind of not anything earth shattering. Came in a little bit less. Basically, I mean, what's that? Point 0.9. Did API hit it this week? 0.74. So they were close. It basically came in exactly how the API number did. Let's see what it did. Oil. Nah, it didn't really do much. Yeah. I mean, I think it kind of came as expected. So I mean, literally, guys, this one bounced back and forth. You can see it never really did any basing, right? I mean, here's your 1 minute. We never got, this is why you have strategies, right? It never slowed. The only basing that it did was like super early at 9:45. It's got to be within the half hour, and it didn't. It did pull up. It did kind of grab those orders, and it did push to the downside. It kind of went low, went high, grabbed the orders up top, pushed back, and we're in the same area. So I wouldn't say that that's an earth-shattering movement today. Like I said, it didn't match anything for me trading wise. So all eyes are going to be on Powell and then OPEC today. Has OPEC mentioned anything yet? No, not yet. Haven't heard any headlines from OPEC yet. So, probably is that young folks are staying away from politics, too busy fighting. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say. I mean, when I say young, I don't mean like AOC young. She's not AOC young, but she's not like you know, she's not like Bernie old either. So, or Nancy old, right? She's not AOC young and Nancy old. Yeah. She's been around long enough, but she's not at the stage where she's senile, right? So, no, I think she would be really good for her. She's very intelligent. I think she would be a great call for that one. But yeah, so oil was kind of a blah, nothing. So yeah, it's gonna happen. I mean, it was a miss, but I wouldn't say that's an astronomical miss, and it came right in line with what API does. So we'll see what natural gas is able to do tomorrow with it. Let me see. Did natural gas move it off from that? Probably not. Oils. I mean, like I said, oils. It's moving like a little tiny bit. Yeah, natural gas is doing nothing. No reaction off of it. maybe a little hiccup, but nothing earth shattering. So yeah, like I said, yeah, I think Powell will be the big thing. If you guys want to watch it, see what's out there. Um, I'm now 3.5 to 1. Now 3.5 to 1 on that call spread. So not too bad. Got it at a good time. 3-1 on a call spread already. It's like, oh, do I close it already? Let this thing roll for a little bit longer. It's working out good so far. Go pound yen. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll shut it down. I don't know. We'll see. It's up over 3-1 at this point. Can't get greedy, right, guys? Can't get greedy, but not bad for a 20-minute trade. Anyway, with that said, that's it for today. Let's go ahead and do our drawing. It is a 50 pip chip Wednesday, so let's go ahead and make sure we get that in there. God, I got a teleconference in 10 minutes. It never ends. What? Person. Uh-oh. I just got an update. 10-11. Now Missouri. The Supreme Court is weighing something. The Supreme Court is what? There's a Mississippi law now. Man, they're just gonna get crazy. Yeah. It's like, quick guys, buy crypto. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's shut this down. Let's see who wins it for today. So who was it yesterday? I don't even remember. On Monday. Um, Neuro, did you win on Monday? I feel like Neuro won on Monday. Because Ernest won last week, closed it out, and I feel like Nora won on Monday because we were talking about how it was completely rigged. Because I mentioned Eki, and I was like, God, I hope Eki doesn't win. Not that I ever want anything negative on Eki, but I was like, Eki, where are you at? And then you got in, and then it's like, oh God, if he wins, I'm going to get in trouble. So I believe it was Neuro. So I believe Neuro's going for 100 today. Everybody else is going for their 50. I'll check it in a second. Winner of today's drawing is Will. So it doesn't matter. I know absolutely without a doubt Will did not win on Monday. But Will, I feel like, um, yeah, well, Mississippi has their own. Don't they? I don't know. What it looked like is Mississippi has an abortion law, and what it does is it challenges Roe versus Wade. I thought it would actually be Texas that fully did it, but I'm not surprised. But yeah, you knew a challenge was coming up, like a legitimate challenge. Um, yeah, you knew a legitimate challenge was going to come up during this thing. So, yeah, I don't think that surprises anybody. Leaderboard, and let's give Will his 50. I'm telling you, man, Will goes 2 years without winning, and then like 2021, it's like, man, this is like Will 2021, right? It's like COVID-19, right? But it'll be called Will 21. I feel like Will is just cleaning up this year. I feel like Will has won more than anybody this year, right? He went 2 years with barely winning, and now like once a week, Will's like, yeah, I get my one win a week, right? It's crazy, crazy. What is the world coming to, right? Insane. Although I think Will's not even here because I asked Will about if he filled up his tanks and he just ignored me. So Will must be getting. Texas did a roundabout with the abortion bill. Technically, Roe's Wade in Texas. Yeah, yeah, and Ernest, what I mean by that was I figured that it's Texas's law that would send the actual challenge of Roe versus Wade up there. There's many states that have laws up there that are controversial, but the actual physical Supreme Court overthrowing it is where I assume would come from a Texas-based challenge, not Mississippi. But you knew there was definitely, without a doubt, going to be a challenge. Absolutely, without a doubt, was going to be a full challenge. And all I got to say is, if they decide that they're going to go through and start revoking all these elements, if they revoke like the right to bear arms, are we going to go back into prohibition? And if so, who is going to share recipes with me? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Got to say, I was watching more Moonshiners last night. They're all right down the street from me. You know, I'm telling you. Going back down that route, guys. Going back down that route. Buying stills to make, quote, alcohol for fuel purposes. Right? It's illegal to produce moonshine, but it's not illegal to produce alcohol as a fuel source or hand sanitizer, right? So Omicron comes. I'm gonna tell my wife, hey, or maybe I'll tell Santa, I need a still so we can produce hand sanitizer in case Omicron is bad. And if I just happen to produce something else, I mean, who am I to argue with history, right? Just kidding, guys. Before I get called by the ATF. Just kidding, guys. All right, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good trading day. And again, I'll see you in the morning. Take care.